different type of video than I've ever done before, but I've seen other people do them. I've always thought it could be fun to maybe make these a thing. I just don't know how exactly they'll go over on my channel, since mostly when I see monthly favorites videos, generally they're on like beauty products. You've seen me. I don't really wear makeup that much. When I do, it's pretty damn minimal, and I generally stick to about the same stuff all the time, with the exception of occasionally branching out a tiny bit for like mascara or eyeliner. Other than that, it's pretty much just my lip balms that vary. So trying to think, if I were to do these, it would have to be much more all-encompassing than just beauty products. So it will just be my favorite anythings that I have really been loving over the course of a month. And if you guys would like to see me make these be a staple every month, let me know, because I would be happy to make them. I'm not really sure if that's something you guys are that interested in seeing or not. So if you are, just let me know. But yeah, so first things first, I will start off with will be the lip product, since I know that's what most of y'all are interested in. So the very first one that I have been loving this month, that I know I just keep singing the praises of, is the Revo Black Raspberry Vanilla. I have been using this one so much. I'm actually going to put some more on right now because I just love it so dang much. I cannot get enough of it. So good. I'm really happy to have it. After how the spring pack went and just that whole mess, I was super on the fence about this one. And I'm really happy I did end up buying it. Well, not me buying it. My friend Marie sent it to me. But as you guys will see with my Target haul, remember there was that whole thing of they had one name on the website, but the picture showed another thing, and I wasn't sure which was going to be the one to show up? They did send the correct one, so I do have a dupe of this now. But for how much I'm loving this, I think I'm definitely going to need it. So, that's my first thing that I've totally been loving over the course of May. Even though it's now June 3rd to be exact, because I am totally behind. I meant to post this on the 1st, but shit happens. So, second lip balm that I've totally been adoring, predictably, is the Carmex Comfort Care in Watermelon Blast. This guy here has seen almost as much action as the Revo. It's pretty much been back and forth between these two, heavier than anything, although there are others that I'm gonna list. These have been the main two that I'm just like, oh my goodness, my precious, you're so awesome. So there's that. There is also, where is it? Where'd it go? There it is. The Chapstick Peaches and Cream. Predictably enough, for those of you who watched my review, you knew this was gonna be in my favorites. So there's that one. There is also the watermelon one. If I can find where that rolled into in here. I put these in here in reverse order of how I should have, so the stuff that's at the top of the list is in the bottom of the box. So this one's the sweet watermelon that I actually put on earlier. I just seem to be bouncing all over the place between these faves and just, you know, going between them. So there's that one. But actually, you know what? I may have used more of this one than the peach one, oddly enough. I've really been digging it that much. And also the Buzzle Bomb in Kiwi and Raspberry. I've honestly been using all three of the Buzzle Bombs that I've gotten really heavily, but this one, more than anything, I think just because of the hot weather, this one's felt the most refreshing out of the three, so this is the one that I've gone back to the most times out of all three. But I do adore all three of them, and I'm definitely going to be buying more from that brand. And the last of the lip balms in this list would be the Lipzest in Cherry Cola. It was a very recent addition to the list towards the end of the month, but since I did open it up and start using it, I've pretty much been adoring the crap out of it, so it made the list at the last minute. So the next thing on the list is the CoverGirl Full Lash Bloom, and this is just black. The one thing that I wish I could have done differently, wish I'd gotten the waterproof one. The first one of these that I bought, I accidentally got in the wrong color and it was brown. And I was using it like crazy anyway, and it shocked me because this stuff It's so magical. You can put it on and your eyelashes are still totally flexible and it doesn't really feel like you're wearing mascara. That is what I love about this stuff. It just chapped my ass that it was brown. So I finally got black. I got the color part right, but I forgot to get the waterproof one, but I'm still using it like crazy anyway. So next time I'm at a drugstore, I will try to hunt down the black waterproof one. But in the meantime, I am still loving the crap out of this one. I've got about 3 different mascaras I go back and forth between, but this is my favorite one just because of how soft and flexible that your lashes still feel when it's on. And this one I found, well, the waterproof version anyway, I can't say it for the non-waterproof, but the waterproof version, I can go to sleep with that on, wake up the next morning, and there might be a couple tiny little dots under my eye, but not the huge raccoon circles that you get if you fall asleep with normal mascara on. So I adore that about it too. That's a really nice thing with it. I know it's really bad to fall asleep with it on, but let's be real. We all do it from time to time. I do it more often than most people, but it happens. It happens. You'll live. So there's that. And then this is probably my favorite thing that I have discovered and is like the most magical thing I think I've ever found in my life, and I basically want all the bottles all the time to just be mine now. It is the Paul Mitchell Super Skinny Smoothing Relaxing Balm. It's for your hair, and you may have noticed it's actually been laying a lot nicer since I've started using this. This was not even blow dried. Do you guys know how batshit insane my hair usually looks if I just let it air dry? All I did was put this on just to see, and I went to sleep with my hair soaking wet last night, and it still came out looking this good. Holy crap. Like, this would be if I straight dried my hair with a blow dryer and then in-stylered it without using it on a good day. So if I blow dry it properly with this stuff on it, it looks even nicer. I am absolutely in love with this stuff. I wish I had taken them up on the deal of buy 2, get 1 free, but I wanted to make sure I liked it first before I invested in a bunch of it. But I will definitely be buying more of this. I got this from Walgreens, but of course when I went back to buy more of it, it's mysteriously not on the website. But it is on Ulta for almost the same exact price, and they have the same deal of buy 2, get 1 free, so I will definitely be heading over there and stocking up on this because it is the most magical thing I have ever discovered, hair care-wise, in my whole life. And it smells really good, too. So, next thing after that, this is not a new thing to my collection, it's just something I have been using like crazy lately. It's the Avon Naturals Sunny Splendor Strawberry and Guava Body Lotion. As you can see, it's quite a ways down. This is my second bottle of it, because yeah, you guys saw forever ago with the first bottle when I got that. This was the newer one, and I just opened it up maybe 2 months ago, but last month especially when the weather heated up, I started going through it like crazy, so I have a feeling this one is not too long for this world either, so there's that. And then, because I know how you guys are about Bath & Body Works, you're gonna be like, oh my god, Jen, how do you still have a bottle of this? Remember, I'm the one who pretty much only shops there during the semi-annual sales, and I just buy all the things and then pretty much coast from semi-annual sale to semi-annual sale using that stuff that I stocked up on. I have been using the Gentle Foaming Hand Soap in Southern Lemon Chiffon. Yeah, this takes you back like a summer or two, doesn't it? So, but it just smells so good, and I actually would adore if I could find more of this. I don't even know if they still sell this scent. If they don't, I'm gonna be very sad, and I'm gonna have to hit up eBay, but you know, it's just weird, because I've never been that big on lemon, but it's a really sweet lemon. It's super sweet lemon, plus you can also smell distinctly cream in there as well, so it absolutely embodies lemon chiffon, and it's beautiful, magical, I'm in love with it. So there's that. Next on this list, where did it go, is the wet brush, which you have probably heard like every beauty vlogger on the planet to talk about by this point, but I am really late to the game in getting this thing. I actually have 3 of these. They're all different though. This one that I'm holding is the Shine brush, but I also have the regular one. The regular one's the one that I actually use when my hair is wet. It's in my bathroom as we speak. And this one's the Shine brush that, like, right now, helps make your hair super shiny because it gets your natural hair's oil brushed all through the strands, and it's all nice. And the third one that I have is just a little miniature travel size one that's only like this big, and it's just really cute. But what is really nice about the wet brush, like the entire line, their whole thing is that it doesn't matter if your hair is wet or if it's dry, these brushes will just go through your hair like butter. No tangles, it will not yank and tear on your hair, and as the guy who made the brush advertises, it leaves more hair on your head instead of in the brush. And as somebody who is always notoriously shedded like a freaking cat, I can attest to this. Look at this. There's like 1 hair sticking off of this, even from my just doing it just now. If I had used a regular brush, there would be at least 30 just from that, because my hair just sheds all the time. So the fact that it actually manages to do what it's supposed to do without yanking so much hair out of my head is a wonderful, beautiful thing. And the only reason I didn't grab the regular one is that because I use it on my hair wet, it does pick up on any little bit of dead skin. I will be the gross person who will admit I have issues with psoriasis on my scalp, so it always looks like dandruff up and died in the base of the brush when I use it on wet hair. Yeah, I have used like every product on the planet. Because it's not regular dandruff, it's psoriasis, it's like there's no getting a lid on that. It sucks, but anyway, the brushes are magical. If you don't have one, you should absolutely get one. They will change your life. I said when I bought it that if these actually live up to the hype that they claim, I will grow my hair back out. As you guys have probably noticed, are we seeing all this outgrowth here? Yeah, I'm growing it out. I'm doing the thing. Because I actually, between this and this, I actually don't mind my hair being longer because it doesn't look completely shitty and it doesn't hurt like hell to get through it. And apparently it doesn't look terrible if I let it air dry partially or fully. So I don't mind. Maybe I will grow it back out. The last time I grew my hair out really long was like 4 or 5 years ago when I had it down to my back. So like all the way down my back. I might do that again. Or I might get frustrated and cut it. I don't know. But for now, I'm growing it out because it's kind of nice. So that is a thing. Next thing on my list is kind of an odd one. And I didn't really realize these would be making it onto the list. But the Bic Crystal pens, or should I say Crystal for how they spell it. Now I've had these for years. Literally years. The same set of them. I've been using them like crazy and they never seemed to run out. Until a week or 2 ago. And my favorite one, the purple one. Those of you who know me know that I predominantly write in purple. Most people write in black and blue. I write in purple because I'm a special snowflake, apparently. I have since I was a teenager, and I imagine I probably always will. And while I definitely have other purple pens, I did not realize how in love with this specific brand I am in the way that they just glide on paper until I tried to substitute some of my other purple ballpoint pens for it in its absence. I tried the Inkjoy, which is probably the only one that, you know, the way it writes, I would put it on par with these. But the ink in those runs out like crazy, so I don't like writing tons of stuff with them. I usually like to save those for decorative stuff, because they're kind of like the halfway point between a gel pen and a ballpoint pen. So that's the difference with the Inkjoys. I tried just regular standard Papermate, because I have a box of those in purple, but no, it's not anywhere close to as smooth of a write as these have. I actually tried a different pen, just like standard stick ballpoint pens from Bic that also happen to be purple that I own, and it's also just not the same. So you know what I went and did? I went on Amazon. Now I was originally going to get another multi-pack so I'd have more of all the colors, but especially so I'd have enough purple one again. But then I found out they make a set of just purple. And they have the purple set in multiple sizes. So I got the one with 20 in it. Hopefully it will last me a good long time, but for how far the ink in that one pen went, I have no doubt they will last me a long time unless they get like some pens do when they get old and they just stop working because they're old. Although sometimes you can get ballpoint pens working again if you take like a lighter and just very quickly run the tip of it just like real quick, like whoop, like maybe twice through it and then scribble on a piece of paper. You can sometimes get them going again that way because what will happen sometimes is the ink will get stuck and dry up in the ballpoint point right there, and just that little bit of heat from the lighter can get it liquidy enough to get it unstuck and get things flowing again. So that's why that sometimes works. Doesn't always work, and if you do it too long, you can melt the tip right off. Learned that the hard way too. Not with one of these, thank God, but in general, it's a thing. So, that is the Bic Crystal pens. Next on the list is also a kind of an odd one that I never thought in a million years I would ever have on one of these lists, because I never even really realized that I like these, but just, I don't know what it was about this past month in particular. Like, I think prior to that, I've worn this pair of pants maybe half a dozen times in all the years I've owned them, and I have owned them since I was 19. But they are, I don't know if you would consider these just gray sweatpants or yoga pants. They're awfully thin. Oh, and they are kind of flared like bell bottoms at the bottom, which makes me think maybe yoga pants rather than just regular gray sweatpants, but I don't know. Just, I was having major circulation issues with my legs again, and jeans were not cutting it, so I pretty much lived in these for like the first half of the month and just like kept washing them and cruising around in like boxers while they'd be in the laundry. But yeah, these were basically a lifesaver while that little mini flare was going on. Knock on wood, seems to be better now, but yeah, I just never realized just quite how comfy these are until that. I'm just like, maybe they're not so bad. I've always just had a hesitation against wearing sweatpants and or yoga pants since unpopular opinion time, I think they look cheap and trashy, but I own this one pair because I got them with a matching sweatshirt when I was 19, right after I saw Dudley Moore's movie 10, and there's that famous scene of him running down the beach in his gray sweatsuit. I was like, I want a Dudley Moore sweatsuit, so I got my own, and I honestly have no idea what happened to the top half of it, but I've definitely still got the bottom half, but I never really wore them too much. They used to just be one of those things that I have in my dresser for if all else fails, if everything else is dirty and in the hamper, there's always these to fall back on, but usually just that knowledge is enough of, okay, I'll go do laundry. But no, this time I actually wore them out of necessity and found out they're actually not so bad. And actually, they're kind of enjoyable. I don't think I'd want to make them my everyday apparel, but, you know, for times like what I was using them for, they're actually quite nice. So, also on the apparel front, not worn with that, by the way, I should mention, because that would be a hideous look. This is not something I bought. This is something I made a few years ago. This is a capelet that I made. You're probably looking at this going, Jen, what the fuck? Although those of you who watch all my videos know that I definitely wore this in at least a few videos. But I made this a few years ago to go with one sundress that I own that just has like really, really skinny spaghetti straps, and the dress itself is cut down to about here. I am not comfortable showing that much skin up here. I'm just not. So this matches that dress, and it just goes on over the head, and it just covers, well, it looks stupid with this, but with that dress, it actually looks really cute to have this on with it. And it's got this cute little design that I crocheted in with it. It's the only one I ever made like it. I kind of wish I'd made them in more colors, but I only did the one. I think also if I ever did it again, I might use mercerized cotton instead of acrylic, since the one downside, it traps in all the heat. And I was wearing this when it was like 90 out. It was kind of dying in it. So I'm thinking if I ever made another one, mercerized cotton is the way to go, because it still would have the slight sheen to it that this yarn has, and they even definitely make it in this color, because I started making a shirt out of exactly that a year or two ago, and I just ran across that project again, and the pattern, so I might get to finish it up this summer. But yeah, it's much more breathable. And it's why pretty much the entire knitting and crochet communities know that for summer knitting, cotton yarn is the way to go. But mercerized cotton just means that it's spun in such a way to where it's shiny, so it just looks cool, and it's slicker to the touch instead of kind of rough. I don't know, it's hard to explain. But yeah, so I wore this a bunch, especially like when it would be in that weird period between it's not really still hot out, but it's not exactly cold enough to need like an actual sweater, but it's chilly enough to need just something around the shoulders. It works great for that. So it'll probably see more action this year. It's just weird because I made that a couple years ago. I wore it once when I first made it, and then it lived in my closet, in my way, until last month, when I finally was like, why don't I ever wear this? So I just started wearing it, was like, yeah, why don't I? I like this thing. So there's that. And then this is not an accurate representation of the one that I kept buying over and over, but Pocky. As those of you who watched the Foodie Friday episode with the just regular chocolate Pocky saw, it became like my new favorite thing. I don't have a just plain box of it on hand. I do have this because this is another future review item, but yeah, the regular chocolate variation of this was like basically my favorite edible thing last month. As unhealthy as that is to admit. Similarly, where was I on that list? Oh yeah, so there was two other things that I actually don't have in this box because there's no practical way of keeping them in there. But two more things that I absolutely was just adoring all month, and I've kind of carried into this month too. I had one of each today. Are smoothies that not bought from anywhere, just made at home. Just peach yogurt, strawberries, blueberries, and a splash of orange juice, and a shit ton of honey drizzled in there. Perfect. Perfect. If you have not tried it, you should try it. It's really good. And obviously you have to throw some ice in there too, but it's really good. It's really good. I would not steer you wrong. And then the milkshakes that, I don't know why it never dawned on me to try this before. Obviously I've had milkshakes before, but it never dawned on me to add caramel sauce to a chocolate milkshake, like in the milkshake. And then after adding it to the milkshake, drizzling it on the inside of the glass too. Perfect. Again, it's one of those things where they totally sell like the drizzle kind of it. It's like Hershey's brand. They sell it in like grocery stores. If you've not tried it, it's amazing. It's probably horrible for you, but tastes really good. So, and even though the time of year is absolutely not appropriate for this, I have been drinking a lot of this too. The Twinings Christmas treat. Let's try that again. Twinings Christmas tea. I'm pretty much trying to finish out this box. I am down this far now. That's what's left, is over here. I'm trying to polish it off and, you know, so I can move on to another box, be able to justify opening one of the ones I haven't opened yet, since it's like, I don't want to have 10 zillion boxes open. I want to work my way through some of the open ones. So this one has just really been appealing to me lately, just for how mild it is. I definitely would like to get more of it in the future, but I definitely need to work through some of the current tea stash first. So there's that, and then this, definitely not a new album to me, but I don't know what about it just randomly all of a sudden resonated with me so strong last month to where I listened to it probably at least once a day every single day last month. I have no idea. And the weirder thing, I don't think I had listened to this album since I was about 15 prior to this. It is the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds album. Yeah, I'm going way back, but those of you who follow this channel know damn well that I don't really follow that much modern music. I am a classic rock girl at heart, but yeah, it's just funny since back in the day, originally my sister had a copy of this. And she listened to it once and it kind of just hung out in her half of the room forever because we shared a room. And she really didn't give that much of a crap about it. So I kind of snagged it and I started listening to it and I fell in love with it. And I may or may not have kind of stole it. To the point where my parents had to intervene and steal it back while I was at school and give it back to her. Which only led to me stealing it again, which led to them having to steal it back again, which led to me stealing it yet again and bringing it to school with me so they couldn't take it while I was at school, which, you know, you can see how this snowballed quickly to the point where they just took the damn thing away and nobody had it. So I bought my own damn copy of it that nobody can touch. And I listened to it to death for like all of age 15 and partway into 16, up until I hit like my random Bee Gees phase. Don't ask, I don't know either. But yeah, there was like a 2-year span in there where this was my shit. And then I didn't really so much as think about it again until like early last month. I realized with my, not Google Prime, Amazon Prime membership that you have free streaming services on there and tons of albums included with this. So I originally was like listening to a bunch of Beatle albums on there just because it's more convenient than digging out my CDs. And this came up as a recommended album in there and I was like, Pet Sounds! I forgot about Pet Sounds! So I listened to it. And then I listened to it again. And I think I listened to it about 10 times that day. And then I dug out my CD and I think I listened to it every friggin' day since then. And I'm honestly still on this kick. I'm not over it. I'm still listening to it daily. So, you know, there's that. That is a thing. So, you know, if you've never heard the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds album, I highly recommend it to you. If you're into like 60s era classic rock, it is a must. Absolutely. Also, not new to me, just new in this format, would be Labyrinth. I actually only just recently purchased it on DVD because I found out that the 30th anniversary edition was only like $8 on Amazon. I was like, holy shit, it is finally time to upgrade my old school VHS to DVD. Honestly, I had a digital copy just on my computer that I ripped from somewhere that I had been watching in recent years since it's like, I don't want to totally kill my VHS copy, you know, and I don't know how many more times it'll go through a VCR before either it gets eaten or before the VCR dies, and since I think I have the only working VCR left in the house, I'd rather not kill it if I don't have to. So, yeah, and it's been known to eat a couple of tapes before, so I don't want to risk my beloved Labyrinth in there, so I finally own it on DVD. And because I am that person who, when I latch on to a thing, I just have the again mentality. With my Facebook Movies Challenge folder, I definitely have not updated it with how many times I've watched it, but I think it's safe to say I have definitely watched it at least 20 times since I got it on DVD. Just saying. So, yeah, no, it may have kind of rekindled my David Bowie love a little bit, too, so there's that. And this one you guys know about, but I think I troubleshooted what's wrong with it. I just haven't gone about fixing it. I think it definitely is a battery issue, but my 4-in-1 Dinky Pet, you guys, you saw the videos with it, but what's making me think for sure that what's wrong with it is a battery issue is that every single time that it's gone wonky on me, all of a sudden it'll flash just this weird graphic of a battery that appears nowhere else in the programming, and it's like a battery with like charges coming out of it. So I'm thinking it's probably just because I use some weird off-brand El Cheapo batteries that it keeps randomly resetting itself and fading into nothing. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to go down to Safeway or something and just get some proper like Duracell or Energizer batteries in the proper size and try it again. If it doesn't work with that, then the damn thing's faulty. But I'm gonna give it a good go with proper batteries and see if I have any better luck, because this thing actually is really fun when it does work correctly. It's that getting it to work correctly part on shitty batteries that has been why I haven't filmed it lately, because it seems like I cannot get it past 6 days of running without it resetting itself on these crap-ass batteries. And the more times I've reset it, it seems like the shorter it wants to stay running, so that also lends itself to believing it's a battery thing. So there's that. Once I get new ones, we shall see if things change for this little guy. But for now, still enamored with it. If it is, in fact, faulty, even with good batteries, I'll probably sell the damn thing and rebuy a different one, but whatevs. So there's that. We're almost done. And the last two things are of the crafty variety. This is Lion Brand Hometown USA yarn. Look how thick these strands are. Do you know how quickly this stuff works up? Those of you who follow my social media saw the, like, neon pink baby blanket that I posted that's for sale. I made that in 2 days. Do you know how long it would normally take me to crochet or knit a baby blanket with just typical yarn? More like 2 or 3 weeks at the very bare minimum. The fact that I can crank one out in 2 days with this stuff is beyond magical, and I am in love with it, and I kind of just want all the things. I want to make all the baby blankets in all the colors now. Whether or not they'll sell is another story, but I'm gonna try it. So, I used up all the pink, but I still had some of the purple left over, so I can show you at least what I'm talking about with this. And then similarly, to go with said yarn, my size N crochet hook. Like, can we just appreciate how ginormous this thing is? Which, you know, to go with yarn that thick, you gotta have a really thick hook to go with it, because otherwise, what are you gonna do? It is really heavy, but on the other hand, I've also got a plastic one in the same size, and I cannot stand the friggin' plastic one. I like that it's lighter. That's about the only good thing I can say about it, because in the plastic one, it's got a seam down the back, and it's rough. And the more you use it, it just scratches along the inside of your hand right here. And you get blisters all across your fingers. And it's just miserable to work with, and I can't stand the damn thing. Which is why I got this one. It may be heavy, it's solid aluminum, but, you know, my hands were not killing me, and there wasn't the tiniest hint of a blister anywhere at the end of the 2 days that I spent non-stop working on that baby blanket, so, this guy is the way to go. The only one that I haven't tried yet for this size, I have not tried a bamboo one, but I am very hesitant to ever try another bamboo crochet hook or knitting needle ever again, ever since my one very limited experience with those. I had some double-pointed knitting needles in bamboo since I couldn't find any just like regular plastic ones in that size. I found them in bamboo though, and as it worked out for me, it took less than a day before literally every single one of them was bent, like out of shape really badly, and I was just so frustrated with the damn things. One of them was splintering to the point where I just gave up on it, so the others I was kind of just going boink, 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 and tossing across the room and watching them stick into the carpet like friggin' lawn darts or something, and yeah, that was my only experience with bamboo knitting needles, and because of how easily those things bent, I've always been super hesitant to try bamboo again. But I hear lots of people rave about it because of how lightweight it is. So, I mean, on something this thick, it might hold up. I'd be willing to give it a shot on something this big, but I don't know. I'm hesitant. For now, I'm really happy with this, though. So, Anyway, that concludes my current favorites for May of 2017. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this list. Again, if you would like to see me make more of these in the future and each month for stuff that I've just really loved every month, let me know in the comments and I will make them be a thing. So, as usual, if you like this video, click the like button. If you're not already like to be, click subscribe, leave comments down below. Until next time, bye!